Hey guys, Adam Savage here in my cave. Good afternoon. It's afternoon here. I have no idea what time you are watching it. So today's show and tell, as you notice from the title, is about swords. I love swords. I have probably 150 swords. I have about 30 that are like really special to me. And I have about a dozen that I store in my office at the house because those are like the really special ones. And here at the cave is a sort of revolving gallery. It's a habit. It's a habit I suffer from. And I wanted to cover a specific kind of sword, which is swords made by my friends at Weta Workshop. Now, I went to Weta Workshop for the first time a few years ago and started a lifelong friendship with so many wonderful people there. Richard Taylor, Peter Jackson, Peter Lyon, their sword master, and so many of the crew and people that made so many of my favorite movies possible. Weta did all of the swords, I believe, and armor for the Chronicles of Narnia films. There are several. I actually don't know off the top of my head how many there are. But every now and then on one of my various avenues of prop collecting, it might be eBay or an auction site or Etsy, I come across a sword from the Chronicles of Narnia, and twice I've been able to purchase them at a reasonable price. And I just wanted to show them to you because they're actually really, really beautiful works of art. One of the things that people talked about when television went from HD to 4K is that when movies went to 4K, prop houses had to double their workload to make things that had details that would hold up under the rigorous high resolution frames of a 4K film. Except for Weta Workshop. I don't think they had to do any extra work. I think they were already putting in that level of quality. This could be apocryphal. I'm not sure it's 100% true, but I'm pretty sure it's totally true. I know that they worry about how their stuff looks and feels and works on film and for the actors and for the story. There is no better prop house in the world, I think, than what the folks at Weta do. And I have a couple of pieces to show you. One I collected a couple of years ago. This one. And again, forgive my ignorance from the movies these are from, but this is a stunt sword. This is a fighting stunt sword. And I'm just going to let you see the details here. Beautiful pommel and handle and guard. We see some motifs on the scabbard. The scabbard looks like wrapped leather. We see some silver accents, and now upon observing the blade, we've got some etching on the blade. This is really lovely. The reason I know that this is a stunt blade is because this is the front of the sword, that's the guard. Along the guarded edge, it has been well beaten. So stunt people are using these swords to smack at each other's swords for battle scenes for a Narnia film. And this is the kind of sword grinding that Peter Lyon was teaching me when I got to make my version of Aragorn's sword. This is hand ground at Weta out of a piece of aluminum. I believe it's 7075 is their preferred amount. Etching is not much of a mystery. I think they do this using ferric chloride. The thing that I find really fascinating about their stunt swords is what might not be apparent is this isn't metal. This isn't wire wrapped. This is a monolithic piece of, I believe, polyurea. This is effectively a really, really hard rubber, which means that this thing can take all sorts of crazy abuse and not break and be ready for filming. In fact, I mean, whatever weathering it does get just helps to add to the look of it. And the scabbard is no different. While this looks like a metal cap with a wrapped shaft and then down to the shape down here, this is all one piece. This is actually also, I believe, polyurea. I could be wrong about the material, but this is just monolithic. It's a one-piece casting. Now, there is some beautiful leatherwork going on here. Actually, the leatherwork on my other sword is particularly awesome. But again, even just like a simple piece of leather made by Weta is, you know, got a real hand-hewn quality to it. They tell stories with every little nut and bolt. I'm not sure if this is vacuum metallized or if it's a metallic paint finish, but even as it's wearing, it continues to look right. And that's not a bug. That's not a happenstance. That's like designed in. They understand this kind of thing at Weta, and they build it, they bake it right in. It's very light. I mean, this weighs maybe 3 pounds. Ideal in every way as a stunt weapon. Now, the other piece I have is also a stunt weapon, but perhaps not for as much rigorous fighting. This comes from Prince Caspian. Am I right about that? Pretty sure I'm right about that. And I picked it up more recently. And again, we see like multiple materials, like a wooden grip, metal pommel. And again, none of this is actually that. This is all flexible plastic. In fact, the entire sword here is a single piece of flexible plastic. I believe it has a metal rod inside to give it some stability so it won't, you know, slowly creep. So this means that instead of being ground for the film, a master was ground and then a mold was made so that multiples of this could be made. The last time I was at Weta, I saw them making some molds for their swords, and they had a method, which I still don't quite understand, in which they were able to cast their swords without using a pouring gate, that like the mold had no input and output, and I still don't quite know how they do that. I might be wrong about the particulars. They will write to me and let me know. But the ultimate result is, just look at the little details, like this little crown detail down here. Just small things like that other people might not consider important. The dents in the blade, the battle scars. This has been built to show its battle scars. That's part of its narrative. And I said the leatherwork was really spectacular, and boy, it is. We've got a custom pattern here pressed into the leather. We also have some custom buckles. And again, these match all of the themes. You got that crown theme here. You've got it down here as well. And again, about just as light. These weigh pretty similarly. When you're making weapons for films, they've got to be lightweight. One, it makes people look stronger when they're wielding them, right? So that you can wield them faster, so the actors look better. Two, when you're handling something all day long, you might be doing 20 or 30 takes for a battle scene. You don't want to be holding on to some big, heavy piece of metal. It's going to be exhausting. More than that, heavy costume pieces are going to start to wear on your body. And these are always concerns that they are balancing at a shop like Weta. For a film like this, I don't know, maybe they make like 100 of these or more. They've got some methodology for turning these out that blows my mind, and I'm delighted to have a couple of their pieces in my collection. I'll shoot some close-ups of these for you so you can see them in all of their glory. Yeah. Just love having nice things made by people I love at a quality I find compelling. These are beautiful objects. I'm delighted to be their steward for as long as that lasts. Thank you guys for joining me for this quickie show and tell. Sorry, I had a one-day build thing here. It's actually an S&T. Yeah. We'll wrap it up there. Thanks, guys. Stay safe. I'll see you next time. Hey guys, Adam Savage from Tested here. If you've ever seen the 6-inch ruler in inches and centimeters on my forearm and wanted one of your own, but you didn't want it to be permanent, well, today's your lucky day. You can now buy temporary tattoos of my measuring stick, my measuring forearm, at tested-store.com. Comes like this, goes on in about 30 seconds with a little water. The instructions are on the back. It comes off with rubbing alcohol, and hopefully it warms you up to the idea of permanently attaching a measuring device to your body, because I use mine every single day.